Welcome to day 40 of projectDIG. Thank you for joining. projectDIG is a 2D multiplayer automation survival sandbox game that I am developing entirely here on Twitch and uploading the VODs to YouTube. We're making a C++ game engine. We made some good progress. You can see it over here. We have spent the last few weeks working on the UI, and we've done a lot of other things to, get the engine to where it's at. Making good progress. We kind of wrapped up the UI on Friday. I took the weekend off. We went down to the city, San Francisco. Saw Hamilton with my wife. It was her birthday. It was amazing, and so much energy. It was great. Kelly loved it, so good times. And yeah, now we're here, ready to move on from the UI. And I think we're going to be working on audio today. Starting to play around with FMOD. I did some research on it maybe like a week ago. Actually, it's probably more like 2 weeks ago, before I started the UI. And I have an okay idea of how it all works, but there's still going to be some learning going on. I haven't really thought about how I should structure the design for like the audio manager, whatever. So we're going to have to do that here on stream. Oh, fun. That's okay though. That's okay. So what we'll probably do is just, try to get some sounds playing, and that's kind of just our goal. Nothing too complicated right now. So FMOD, oh, I don't have it linked here. FMOD, here we go. I did download it, but I also saw that there was a new update, so maybe I just need to re-download it. Am I logged in? Yes. Okay, cool. I think there was an update. Let me look to see if the version I currently have is updated or not. FMOD. Don't actually have a version here. This is not working. Did I get disconnected? No, this is not working. So what is FMOD? FMOD is an audio solution that is honestly pretty sexy. And I wish it was around. Well, I think it was around, but I didn't really know about it. Or maybe they didn't have the features that it does now. There we go. Oh, I needed to sign in. Um, 2.001. I probably don't really need to update for that version. Let's see here. I have it somewhere. Dig external. No, it's not in there. So it must be in program files. FMOD, there we go. Here we are. So what is FMOD? Yeah, FMOD is, I realized I just didn't finish my sentence or thought. What FMOD lets you do is actually have the game and audio kind of communicate easily and be able to kind of add in logic with your audio. And I don't really know of like a good way to describe it. Like you can have, like, one cool thing I saw in Celeste, I was watching this video, is that they actually made it so it has some randomness with the audio. So like whenever a character's talking, they have like these small little clips that represent like a word, and then they'll like have that or have them in like a series that have these different like cadences. So it's like da 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 da, and they will actually like kind of have like punctuation kind of, but it's all like procedurally generated kind of, or it's like random, and so it's different every single time you talk to a character, and that's all done in FMOD. It's pretty cool. I don't really know of a good way to explain it because I haven't used it. I've just kind of seen bits and pieces, but yeah, the best way I can think of explaining is that it's a audio solution that allows you to hook up logic to it, like game logic. And so you could have things like, hey, it's becoming nighttime, let's change, like fade out this one channel and start fading in another channel or something along those lines. Like that's something that would be very trivial to do in FMOD. Hey, Cooler, welcome. And yeah, so I want to add in support for that because I think it's going to be pretty awesome, and yeah, I would like to be able to capitalize on it in some ways at least. We'll see what we can do. So they have like these two different solutions. They have FMOD Studio that does those things I was just talking about. And then they have like a much simpler thing called FMOD Core. I'm not seeing it in here. I guess this is just for the studio. Yeah. So this supports like events. And yeah, there's the FMOD API doc. So actually, maybe this is specifically for... Oh, okay, this is for the studio. My bad, my bad. But they do have like two different APIs. Oh, it's the studio API, and then there's the core API. That's what I was looking for. This is the page I was looking for. And they also have this concept of a sound bank or a studio bank, which is basically a lot of sounds that are all packed up together nicely, which makes it easier for FMOD to stream the sounds, and also there's a lot overhead in some of the like audio files, and they're able to take out some of those. So the actual size of, and sounds are actually very expensive, or like expensive as far as sound goes. I mean, sorry, not sound. As far as file space goes, like if we look at Kriya's mods, core, audio, properties. So this is 66 or so MB. And for Kriya, if we just say take everything except for audio, everything else, it's 47 or so. And I don't like compress any of that down or anything like that. I am using like wave files here, I believe, or OGG, that's what I use. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so it's like the audio is taking up more space than pretty much everything else combined. Hey, Bobby D, welcome. So yeah, it's quite expensive. So I think what we're going to do is just kind of look at look over the API some, think about how can we implement this into our game engine. It's not too complicated. Like here, you can create a studio system. Here's how to initialize it. That's I guess like pretty much it is just this, like as far as the basics go. I think the biggest thing is the callbacks. Or the events. Event, callback created, destroyed, starting, started, restarted. Event instance. The event has commenced playing. Normally this callback will be issued immediately after starting. A programmer sound is about to play. I don't know what a programmer sound is. Programmer instruments. Describes a programmer sound. Yeah, I'm not sure about what like that stuff is yet. We'll keep poking around with this. We'll figure it out. Go to here. Oh yeah, there's a getting started, that's right. FMOD Studio API. So here's how we can initialize it. Looking for threads and thread safety. Yeah, that's right. They have their own threads kind of that run in the background. So I think we probably just want to initialize the FMOD Studio and then go from there. Core API only. So is it that whenever you are so here's one thing I'm not sure about yet is, so it sounds like for this maybe you only with the core API you actually play the sounds directly, but with the studio API you are having events be triggered, and that's what determines what sounds are being played. Is that right? That kind of sounds like it. That doesn't have what I was looking for. Maybe we need to go back into here and look at it. Yeah, everything that produces a sound in a game should have a corresponding event. An event contains and is composed of tracks, instruments, and parameters. The parameters trigger the instruments which route audio content into the tracks. The tracks route into other tracks or into the event's master track. The output of the event's master track routes into the project mixer. In addition, the event's parameters can control and manipulate most properties of the event's instruments and logic markers, and of effect modules on the event's tracks. In Studio API, typically you will load an event description from a bank. Then you will use an event description to create an event instance. Then to play the event, you call instance start. Okay, so that's actually very helpful. Reading that. I think we definitely want to go this route. Event description. What I might want to do, this is helpful for sure. One really cool thing about this, I don't know exactly how it's all set up, but it should make multiplayer audio kind of easier, because now, you know, for Korea, what I would do is, and this was a bad way to do things, is actually kind of just say, hey, play the sound for this player. But now I can do things like, hey, this event triggered, and it can determine if it should be playing the sound or not. And that's kind of like, I think that's the more like proper way to do it. So you can like get the ID, and maybe, yeah, you can get an event by an ID. So you could, you know, you can have the ID and say, hey, this event was triggered on the server, send it to this client, and then they can look up the event description by ID. So that's awesome. FMOD GUID. Interesting. Okay. So let's start with pulling this over into here. What is this? I think, oh, I see. That was for the animation. Yeah, we can just like discard this for now. We don't really care about this. Okay, so what we want to do is pull this over. So those are examples. We don't really care about that. Here are the includes. So this is for the core. What we really care about is the Studio API. I wonder if we need both. Like, does this actually contain everything? And why is there a CS file? FMOD Studio Common. Is this? Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Ah. Is the HTTP file the C++ version? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we want this. And here's our libs. So let's go ahead and start pulling that over. So we have, so we'll create a new thing in here. We'll call it FMOD. And then we want the include directory in here, include, and we can, oops, let's close that. We also want lib, that's right. What's a good example of this? Lib. I think it's lib, yeah, x64 and x86. So it's pretty much exactly what they have here, right? Yeah, so we can just copy that over. And then we're going to add in a new folder, fmod here. That's what we'll actually include. And then that's what all of the these files are going to put in. Actually, let's take a look at this. What is this? Yeah, okay. This is the C# version. We don't need that. Well, we just want these. Whoops. Let's dump them in here. So now what we can do is go into here and, whoops. And I just realized we did not write a single unit test for our UI. We might need to do that at some point. We won't do it today, but we probably should go back over that. Okay, so first off, looks like I can't do it for all. Yeah, I think, nope, not even those two. Boo. Okay. We need to add in a new one here. FMOD. Oops. Let's copy that. That way, save. Add those in. I don't know if we have to have this here, but we'll just go ahead and add it in. But this one is a little different in that it does not have, it doesn't go up 2 directories, which is something I regret. And I probably will change at some point. Okay, and then the next thing we need to do is go into the linker and tell it that, hey, we're going to be including fmod.lib. I think that's what it is. Let's take a look. So this is in here. We have fmodstudio.dll. What's the L for? L. I don't know what that is for. We probably don't care about it. Do they talk about this? Maybe over in here? Maybe in here they mention it. Code banks. Programmer sound. Oh, that's cool. They have an example there. So yeah, maybe we should pull this up. It's weird they don't have an actual like, oh, here it is, examples, solution. "2012, they're behind on times." You can open it. Let's not do that. Let's just load it up. I don't really care. I'm going to see what's this like programmer sound stuff. Programmer sound callback. So here they launch it. Master bank. So we have a master bank and a sound effects bank. That's kind of cool. They have different dialogues. These keys are shared amongst all audio tables. Oh, I see. That's cool. Cool, cool. Music callbacks, load bank. This should be pretty simple, right? Oh, this is for loading a bank. I see. I thought that they would do all that for us. Load file. Get loading state string. Loading state. Wonder how this is used. These are nice though. These examples. Common draw. Maybe we should try running some of these to see what it looks like. Oh wait. Set as default. Okay. Let's try running that. See if it even compiles. So yeah, welcome anyone that's joined recently. I'm working on getting some audio working. GDI 32.lib. GDI. I don't know. What's GDI 32? Graphics device. Okay, that's what I was thinking it was. I don't know why it's failing. Suffix. Oh, what's the suffix for? That's where the L is coming from. Suffix. Is that like a common thing? Or is that like custom defined? Yeah, I don't have a suffix. I don't know where suffix is coming from. Let's go back to the examples. Does this change it? No. Still says it's L. Maybe debug? Yeah, so that's the debug. L is debug. I don't get how does L refer to debug? Yeah, usually it would just be like D or just debug or something. Or sometimes it'd be release R. I don't get how L refers to debug, but anyways. Okay. Now we know. L is debug. Makes sense. Okay, cool. So we have some examples here. Unfortunately, we're not being able to load them because they're GDI. I don't know why it can't find the GDI lib file. I don't really want to spend time trying to figure that out though. Okay, so what we need to do here is, man, it's annoying. So how do they specify the suffix? How is that set up? I actually have never tried to add in like custom configuration options. Configuration. I wonder, debug source files. I bet somewhere you can actually add these in. I don't know where though. So what are these called again? Macros. Let's look up Visual Studio 2019 custom macros. That's not the type of macro. I'm looking for macro variables. Maybe that's what I want. Link to all. Create user defined. Here we go. Property manager. Add macro. Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh, it's not in here. Okay, let's go to property manager. Or it's down there. View. Property manager. There we go. Application. I'm gonna figure out. This seems to be old. That renames it. Add new project. No, I don't think I want that. Why can't I see the macro? They keep mentioning this user macros. Double click on a property page. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's... Aha. Maybe that's a property page, or maybe this is a property page. Ah, there we go. Core library. Yeah, here we are. But I don't see that. So maybe this isn't a custom one. I'm just trying to figure out what they did to. Like, it would be kind of nice to have this be the same. So in here, I could do pretty much what they did, which is FMOD. Well, this needs to change. It'd be like FMOD studio suffix FMOD studio. Wait, suffix .lib, and then they also have oh, this is vc.lib. vc. Then come on. They have the other one, which sorry. I just have one. Wait, why did they have both? Do I need that? Maybe I need that. Because I believe I saw, yeah, they have the FMOD one as well. Maybe I need to have FMOD as well. That's what it kind of looks like. So this is kind of wrong. This should be FMOD Studio, huh? Or I could combine the two. I don't see that being a problem. I don't know why I need to have them be separate. So these are the header files for that. There's no overlap, so I think it's okay to do this. I don't need the CS files. And then for the libs, copy those over. We don't need those right now. Oh, I didn't realize I grabbed those. Now let's get rid of that. Okay. So now that we have all of those, we also need, that's the FMOD Studio. Let's add in this other one, which is this FMOD suffix. Right now we don't have this suffix set up. I take it that for debug it doesn't have suffix, right? Yeah, we can see here it doesn't get evaluated to anything. I'm wondering if there's any that evaluate to just L. Like, why do they have that, but I don't? Not sure how that is possible without it being a custom one. Maybe it's a custom one that's like specified for all of them. Like it's a project-wide macro. Maybe there's a way to do that. Yeah, that's it seems like it's a custom one. Let's see here. Not suffix. Macro. Global macros. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it's telling me to do. Not sure how I'm not seeing that. Maybe it's because I was looking at the wrong thing. So it's not available. Huh. Yeah, I just don't see it at all. Hey, Steve Ward, what's up? Okay, so I guess we'll just have to add in our own. Oh, whoops. I did this wrong. Let's take that out. Okay, and then let's do all configs. Dang. That's not what I want to see. What happened? It should be the same. Right? Or am I wrong? Okay, let's actually... Oh, I applied it? Really? Oh, I did apply it there. Whoops. Okay. Hold up. Hold up. I see what happened. Just trying to keep these all in line so that it shows it as the same whenever I do all configs. That's what I'm trying to do. So we can go over here and do the same. Oh, I did forget to add in one thing over here. The linker general. We want to do something very similar. .libs, FMOD, lib. I think we want platform target. FMOD platform target. Oh, whoops. There we go. And then here we don't need anything, but we do need something in here. Need to do the same. Look, this has gdi32.lib. Interesting. Okay. And then one last thing to finish setting this up. Well, kind of. Maybe two more things. Libs, fmod, lib, platform target, apply, and then lastly we need to do this whole property manager thing. So wait, yeah, maybe we could just do it like that. Say, hey, for all of these, we want to, oh, we can't do it for those. We need to, okay, this is a little confusing. Why can't I not change? I have to change it here. Application. I guess this is what I need, huh? And I actually technically don't need to do it for Siege. Sorry, this is all new to me. I've never messed with this before. So let's do this. Properties. User macros. Oh, you can't add them? You can only do one at a time? Wait, what? Won't even let me add a macro. Add new project, property sheet. Maybe I can't add them to that. User, maybe I have to do it in there. Oh, whoops. Okay, yeah, that one doesn't let me. This one I can, but it's over here. It was popping up on my other screen. Hey, Hambone, what's up? How's Dig doing? It's good, it's good. Working on adding in support for FMOD right now, audio stuff. How are you doing? Okay, so we're going to call this suffix, and the value is L. Set this macro as an event variable in the build environment. Environment variable. I think I want that. Okay, maybe not build event. It. Trying to figure it out. Hey, that worked. Nice. Cool. So if we go to, I think, wait, maybe we should double check that. Oh no, it's always doing it now. I only wanted suffix to be set when it's in debug mode. I specifically had debug mode set, so it would do that. It seemed to have failed. Why can't I see the macros? Dang, I am not getting this right at all. Trying to make myself get out of bed to go to dev. You can do it! Go, go, go. Yeah, this seems all weird. I don't know what's going on here, to be honest. I'm not getting this. So what I was trying to do is just make it so that I don't have to change these per configuration, but it's kind of looking like I need to. So maybe what we'll do is this. We'll go to all configs. We're going to move this down to the bottom since I can't get it to work otherwise. And then we'll go into debug and replace the suffix with L. Why could they not just use something like debug? And then for release, we need to do something similar, but replace it with nothing. So that's what I was trying to avoid doing, but I can't figure out how to do it the other way. I don't want to spend like a lot of time trying to figure that out when this is like the only case that I'm going to have to actually do this. Okay, so we're just gonna stick this on to the end. Whoops, this should be for all configs. Keep it the same, and now we'll change it per one. Couldn't remember if I had asked this before or not, or if you had answered this or not. Did you start with a prototype for this game or decide to just in and get to it? I worked on a prototype. We did pre-production for about 50 days. So this is debug, so we want L. And I have not actually, I need to spend some time working on that, but I have all the VODs for the, whoops, we just need to remove this. For the pre-production on YouTube, but I just need to actually kind of fix them up a little bit. I think really all I just want to do is add in like a thumbnail. Probably just do like super easy thumbnails and some description text, something like that. It's just like there's 50 of them and I have to go through all of them. I probably should just like, you know, do one a day or something like that. But yeah, we did do a prototype. And you can even, if you want to, check it out here. Prototype. I use Korea's game engine to do it. Okay, so we finally have that set up. It should be working. We'll go ahead and save everything. I think I just did, right? Save all. Okay. All right, so what we need to work on now is actually just like getting something running, right? System unload all. Here's where they create the system, initialize it, set a callback, bank unload. So this is for like loading banks. Let's look at, are there other ones? Simple event. Here's a good, yeah, this would be good to look at. Simple event. So here they create the studio. .1. Interesting. Probably could change that. Default raw mono stereo. I would just leave it default. I don't know, like if default tries to figure out what they have, that would be the best. Hey Marg, welcome back to the Siege. 5 months in a row with Twitch Prime. I appreciate it, Marg. Welcome back. Any initial estimation on how long you think the project will take? I said about 2 years at the start. I really don't know still. It's hard to say like this early on. I'm still figuring out what exactly is projectDIG. I'm trying not to time box it really. Still don't know why am I still here. Why are you still here? No, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate the support. But yeah, it's hard to come up with an estimate. I'm saying like 2 years, that's my goal. Honestly, right now, I feel like things are going faster than I had originally anticipated, so that's good. But I also know, like, I mean, there's some things that I need to take out. Like, I'm going to be working on Korea for the next, like, month and a half, 6-7 weeks around there, part-time. So that's going to take some time off of projectDIG. And then I have something else coming up later in the year, which I'll announce sometime in the future. And that's going to be taking up like probably part-time work as well. And so I have some things that I'm going to be doing probably for the next like 4 or 5 months that will be consuming a chunk of my time. So, you know, like if I factor that in, then, it probably will still take 2 years or maybe a little bit more. But while you are brave, after prototype, you're ready to commit 2 years? Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely worried that no one will buy it too. Um, but I am confident in the idea. I spent 50 days working on it and coming up with the design. If you're interested, you can check out the design or at least a lot of it here at dig.siegegames.com. If you go to, so this is the dig.siegegames.com landing page, and you can go to the design and see what I have kind of planned for it. Probably move things around some, like researching is much more important. Lighting. Yeah. That's like not super important. But you can kind of look at these, like what I have planned for researching. But anyways, I'm confident in the idea. There are some things I'm a little weary about, but the core gameplay I am certain of, which is a 2D side view sandbox automation game where you're trying to move items to your factory using physics. That concept I feel like is gold. It's just like getting all of the other design that support that right will be some work. Hey, Nashvan and Mr. Poundsign, welcome guys, welcome. Hope you guys have had a good weekend. All right, so yeah, I'm confident in the idea. Yeah, I think the hard part will be figuring out the basically the supporting stuff. What's driving the player? I talked a lot about it. I'm going to try to do this whole like environmental survival thing, which is very different. That definitely has potential risk. So far stuff good. How are you doing? I'm good. I'm good. Had a good weekend. They're seeking an ancient artifact, the ultimate digging shovel. Yeah. I mean, that's an objective, and I kind of have an objective for the game now, but like what's really driving the player to survive, and that's like, yeah, I talked about this with Kelly on our drive home last night. Just, I feel like there's two potential paths I could go down. One is kind of the guaranteed safe route, which is just like, hey, you know what? Let's just do monsters. Have monsters be like a driving force for players, where they have to like rally together and try to survive against monsters attacking them, while they're also trying to like, you know, get more power and survive in this environment. The monsters are like the main force that they're having to fight against. And so like that's the easy way, I that's the common way that people do these games, Korea or Terraria or Factorio, etc. Look at any survival game, like almost all of them are going to be where you're fighting some creatures and trying to survive against them. And the challenging, you know, kind of riskier path, which I would like to take, is doing this whole environmental survival thing where there are no monsters and everything is environmental and you're having to like regulate things. It's a little bit more hardcore. Potentially, you know, it's almost certainly going to be a steeper learning curve because it's just different. Whenever someone sees a monster coming at them and they have a sword in the hand, they know what they need to do. But what do you do whenever you see this temperature and, oh, the temperature is hot over here? What does that really mean? And yeah. So the plan is to get this game engine to the point that I can start kind of prototyping and playing around with those concepts. Last question, did you ever answer as to why you ultimately decided to not go with Unity or some other commercial engine? Was it because it was a bigger project? Yes, I did answer that multiple times. And I need to make a little video that goes over that. I won't do it now because I am in the middle of today's video. But basically, to sum it up, I decided it was going to be faster to write my own game engine and more interesting to me and also to viewers if I'm writing my own game engine. And I think so far I'm right that it is faster. We're 40 days in and I already have almost everything that Unity would be providing me. So it's because I can focus on exactly what I need, and then also once I get all of this foundation built, I will know exactly how it's working and know how to optimize it and not have to like be learning how does Unity do this certain thing or whatever. Yeah, that's the basics of it. The survival aspect hasn't been very attractive to me, but that each research tier has cool new things I can make more interesting systems with is what hooked me. Are you talking about projectDIG or some other game, Mr. Poundsign? The survival aspect hasn't been very attractive to me. Yeah, I'm not really sure how the survival is going to work. Factoria, okay. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I haven't played Factoria. I really need to. Like, I would definitely be doing things differently with projectDIG's survival, and that's one thing I need to figure out is like, I'm kind of thinking either I need to make this game be a little bit faster paced and have it be more like a roguelike where you're dying often, or like maybe just get rid of this survival altogether. And that's something I need to play around with. Kind of feel like doing it more of like a roguelike where like you're learning the systems and the like a lot of the time in roguelikes you are like the cool thing about a roguelike is that you learn the systems and how everything works. Usually there's like combat, and so you're having to learn like how does the combat work, how do these items work and everything. And with projectDIG, there would be the items and like what you need, but also how do the game systems interact, you know? Oh, here's temperature, that's doing that thing. Maybe I have like a pollution gas that affects things, and you have to learn how that works. And oh, hey, if you are using this machine, then it'll create pollution or whatever. And so you're learning it and you're dying and learning and dying. And yeah, I'm not sure yet. That's something, like I said, we'll be experimenting with. Hey, Bart, what's up? Welcome. It's ironic, actually, that writing your own can sometimes be faster. Sorry for asking a question that's probably been asked a bazillion times. Hey, no worries. It's a good question. I actually have a talk. I don't know if you saw that. I have a talk. Let me pull it up for you really quick. That goes over like deciding what game engine you should use, or yeah, choosing your tech is what it's called. Let's pull that up. There we go. That's choosing your tech. But I should do like a follow-up video, which is like, here's why I decided. Here's the deciding factors. One thing that could be nice about a roguelike is that you could do challenge maps as another way to play the game. Yeah, that could be interesting for sure. And also just like a, I don't know, sandbox mode where it's like, hey, you can just do whatever. There's no like, I don't know, death really. Like take out some of those elements, make it easier. I would learn Godot, but it's not written in Go. Mr. Pound Sign, such a dad. Dad jokes. Programmer dad jokes. Hey Fargo, Bitwise, welcome back. 6 months. Thank you for the continued support. I really appreciate it. 6 months. People are getting up there. It's awesome. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so yeah, audio stuff. Let's get back to that. Let's start playing around with that. My goal today is let's just get a sound, a thing playing. We can actually look at these examples. These are good. How to set it up. Error check. It sounds like these return a bool. Oh, it's a FMOD result. I see. What are those FMOD results? Oh wow, that's a lot. There are a lot of errors. Okay. So FMOD okay is 0. And then everything else. Okay, okay. So I'm guessing that this error check is just looking to see if it's result. Gotcha. Says which line. Nice. Result. Void. Oh. If it's not okay, then do this error. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Simple enough. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to get to that point where we can start playing around with the design once more. But we do have the engine, and I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the engine stuff. It was rough at first because I just didn't know what I'm doing, and I still don't always. The UI was a nice break because I actually knew what I was doing with the UI. Now we're kind of back to that unknown land. Okay, so yeah, speaking of unknown, how do we want to set up our audio? I was thinking that, well, let's look at this. So yeah, you have events, get event. So that gets the event. Looping ambience descriptor. So that gets the event, and then we can create an event instance with the description. And so the path is this. And then the description. Did you get the mattress yet? I did. It's good. Yeah, I mean, we're still getting used to it, but overall, it's good so far. I stayed the last 2 nights at the in-laws, and they just have a air mattress that sucked. Not comfortable, especially for 2 people, because it's like one person moves and the other person like bounces up and down. Not the best. Oh well. Okay, so looping ambient instance. This takes that. Okay. So what do we do with this? Well, we just say, yeah, we create the instance, and yeah, down here we can then start the instance or stop it. I see. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm just thinking, like, what does our API look like? So I'm thinking we would say, hey, we want to start an event. That'd probably be the most common thing, where we would pass in the event key, which would be something like this. That would, go to the bank. We probably would have these different banks. I wonder, load bank file. Event ambience. How does it know where? I guess it like knows with the sound effects. So like the sound effects. Common media path. That's good. That's cool. Yeah, that must be it. Is like it loads it up and the event will have a path in the sound effects bank, and so we don't have to like specify them. So like UI would be in the sound effects bank. And cancel instance. Yeah, so then yeah, I'm thinking our interface will just be like, play event. And it will get the description for us, create a new instance, and then start playing the event. The one thing that kind of sucks about that is like, release will clean up the instance. I see. When it completes. So here's where we have a thing that it's like creating new instances every time. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking we could do. I could definitely see something more like this where we create an instance and we keep it around. Yeah, I think we'd probably want maybe like I'm thinking 2 different types of functions. Where it gets the description, it creates an event instance, it starts the event instance, and it just does a release whenever it finishes. And so it's just like, fire and done. And it can return actually, maybe in that case, we wouldn't return an event instance. It's just like, go. And then there's a more complicated one where we say, hey, we are giving ownership of this instance back to whomever is calling this function, and they are responsible for calling release and start and doing whatever else they want to do. And we can look at, here's the event instance, we can get the description, we can change the volume, the pitch, masks, properties, pausing, starting, stopping, doing like all of that stuff. Most of the time we probably don't need that. I'm not positive about that, but this is what I'm kind of thinking we can do is like simple version, complex version. I slept on an air mattress for 6 months, never again. Dang. Yeah, that sounds brutal. Okay, so I think that makes sense. We probably need some way to be able to load bank files as well. Just thinking what we need for this. So what I'm kind of leaning towards is doing what I did for these other systems, such as our... I really don't know if this is a good solution or not, guys. I kind of like the way it's set up, like our file system, where it's just a namespace with these functions, and so it's kind of like a singleton, but the interface is really simple. So it's a singleton, and it's always like these static functions that are being called. But in here, we actually have a singleton, and we do this also with our resources, kind of. Where it's just like we have this namespace resource, and then we can call load and unload and get audio, whatever. We probably aren't going to do this that get audio. I don't know, or maybe we will, but it's like for the banks. And so yeah, and here we would have like, so this one, it didn't create any pointers. It's just like, here's our generations and indices and resources and handles. For the file one, we actually do create a pointer at some point, right? I think so. Oh, we don't even create a pointer. We just have this file manager. In this case, though, we do need an initialize, and so yeah, I'm just thinking that we can. So it's kind of like a do the audio file stream, or are they loaded entirely into the memory? So the bank, I think, is streamed. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. Hey guys, I need to go AFK for a little bit. It's probably like 5 to 10 minutes. I'll be back soon, and then we'll actually start working on this. Sorry. I'll be back soon. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. All right, so looking at doing our audio manager system. I mean, it's kind of an audio manager. Our audio API, similar to how I did the file and resource, where we just have a namespace that we can call into, and the majority of the implementation is all hidden within the CPP file. I think I kind of like this solution. It's kind of like, it's basically using a singleton for these systems where we only really want like one instance of it running. We never want more than one. And so it kind of makes sense. We do need to initialize some things here, but it shouldn't be too bad to do that. So let's just go ahead and get started with that. We're doing the header first. So let's just call it audio. This goes in just C, or let's see, include siege. Yeah. And then for the CPP file, we're going to do audio.cpp, and it needs to go in source. Looks like I'll be dropping some frames here. Hopefully not. Okay, so fortunately this makes things very easy to do. We can say this is namespace audio, and we'll figure out how we want to do that. I didn't think about that. Don't know if we need to do that at all. So we're going to have, I think right now we need an initialize function. We need a load bank, or maybe just load. Not sure exactly how we want to do that. Load bank. Yeah, so I think that does it on the background thread for us. Load bank flags. Normal. I wonder what these are. Normal, non-blocking. Oh, interesting. Oh, so does this block then? Decompress samples unencrypted. I see, interesting. So it might be blocking by default. You frame klutz, yes. That is I. System. Create initialize. Oh no, it's not initialize. Load bank. Oh, here we go. Load custom. I didn't see this. Wait, what's load bank file? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, I can do memory, right? I think I saw a load bank memory. Yes, so we could do that. That seems good. This is what we should use. Memory mode. Let's see, when mode is load memory, FMOD will allocate an internal buffer and copy the data from the past in buffer before using it. When used in this mode, there are no alignment restrictions on buffer, and the memory pointed to by buffer may be cleaned up at any time after this function returns. I see. So you can do load memory or load memory point. I probably just want to do load memory. Why would you need to, if you're loading it from memory, why would you need it to be non-blocking though? Like, this still can block? Kind of surprised. So I think I want this load bank from memory, which needs, yeah, the buffer and the lane, or actually we would just pass it the read, right? Yeah, I think we'd just pass it the read stream. Oh, and it has to pass in, I see, it needs to pass in the bank. But what do you do with the bank? Well, we need to unload it for one. I see. So maybe we need to keep like a list of banks that have been loaded. Yeah, still figuring out how this API needs to work. So you can get the ID, get the path, unload, load sample data, unload sample data, get the loading state, get string count, get string information. I don't know exactly how we want to use that yet, but that is something we need to keep in mind. So let's see here. For now, we'll start with, maybe it's min-mapped. Up in more frames. Min-map even. Sorry, what is min-mapped? Sorry, drop in frames. So let's see here. I don't know if we really need to pass in. I don't know if we need bank stuff right now. I would say for now we would just say void get or load bank, and we'd pass in a read stream. And that's probably it. I see. Yeah, that might be the case. I see what you're saying. Yeah, for this, the load memory bank. But this is if it's already loaded. I could see it making sense if, like, we've already allocated everything. Maybe if it's pointing to a memory. No, that's like if it's loaded and let's say I want to, like, I load it up. So in this case right now, we're loading the read stream and we load up the data, but we're going to like have it be cleaned up as soon as it finishes calling this. So we do want it to do load memory, not load memory point, where this is just pointing to like this is, so memory is where we're saying, hey, here's the memory, but you need to make a copy of this because we're going to be cleaning it up. And memory point is where we're saying here is where the audio bank has been loaded into memory, and this is going to be kept around until we're done with it. And so this won't do a copy of the memory. But yeah, they might do that with some other things. Like maybe with the bank, if you're loading it from file, they might do the file mapping. Okay, so there's load bank. What else do we need? Let's see here. We want a... This is audio. I might just do like play event. Maybe even just play and pass in. What does it take? Maybe what would be best is a hash map. I'm not sure about that, or a hash string. That's the event name. And it just gets automatically cleaned up. I want to have like 2 different versions. One is where we play it. Maybe I should have a play and a start. And the start takes care of everything for us. Whereas play is more of like what does it take? I mean return more of, it's the event, right? This so we have event description. Do we want that? No, we want the instance, right? FMOD Studio event instance. So it creates a new instance. Is that what we want? I think so. So yeah, we need to at this point include FMOD Studio.h should do it. So what this does, oh, and I should also include or I don't know if I need to include it. It's space siege. I need to, let's just do a read stream, or whoops, this is a class read stream, and then class hashed string 64. So that way we don't have to include the files in here. So we can't find this in here, FMOD Studio. I would think that it would be in, oh, that's the common file. I think I need to actually do the HPP file here, yeah. I see. So in this case, the header file, the H file is for the C interface, and HPP is for the C++ interface. So what this does is creates an event instance and gives ownership to the color. What this does is creates an event instance and begins or starts it and releases it on completion. Okay. Sounds good. All right. So here is where we're going to do this. So we want our system here to be set up, null pointer, and then I think we also want a vector of banks. Let's do s underscore banks and s underscore system. Oops. Okay. So that's just like, so what this is doing is creating it so it's only living in here. So no one else is ever going to see this studio system or these banks. And it all lives here. Oh, another thing I need to do is avoid initialize, and I might need to also do a shutdown. So what this needs to do is create it and then initialize it. Oops, I think it's this calls this system initialize, right? Get core system, set that. I don't think we need to do that, but we do need to call system initialize max channels. They do 1024. That's so many. Okay. Wait. FMOD studio init normal. Look at these. Synchronous update. Deferred callbacks. Yeah, I would probably prefer asynchronous updating, which I assume is the default since synchronous is something else. Deferred callbacks. Load from update. I don't know, we'll look at that. We can always come back to this later. And then we have the flag, fmod, init, normal. Let's look at what those are. Stream from update, mix from update. Yeah, I don't really know what these are yet. Thread unsafe. And then extra driver data. What is that? Common init. Extra driver data? Guessing this isn't actually used. It doesn't look like it's used. What does this do? Hide the cursor. Set the window and buffer height. Order is important. Was this setting up the window? Yeah, this doesn't seem to actually be used. I don't extra driver data. I think I can just say null here. Yeah, it looks like it's set to null and we don't actually use it. Okay. So that should initialize it. I imagine we need to tear it down. Yeah, system release. So then we'll have a void shutdown, which will release. But before we do that, we should iterate through all of the banks for auto bank and s banks. Oops. The bank release. Oh, it's called unload. And that's it. And then we need a load bank. And what we need to do in that case is do our system load bank from memory. And this is where we need to pass in we have our stream and we can get the data, which is a const byte. So in this case, we need to change it to something else. Then we have stream length or size. The memory mode, right? Memory mode is just memory, because we wanted to copy it. The flags, I don't remember what that is. I think we just want load bank flags. FMOD studio load bank normal, and then the bank itself, which we will have to create here. So we need the bank, which is FMOD. Oops, FMOD. Studio bank pointer bank. Set it to null pointer. Pass it in there, and then here we need to say banks pushback bank. Oops. And maybe we need to do a check on the result. I think I want that. Already locked, invalid string, studio uninitialized, already loaded. Oh, that's not what we want. Yeah, basically if it's valid, then yeah, if it's equal to that, then push back the bank. I think that should be okay. So we'll hook that up. And look at, I'm trying to remember, do I do a static cast for that? I think so. Reinterpret cast. Okay. Read stream. I think that's an utility read stream. And we will also eventually need the hash string. Okay, so that's compiling for now. Almost. It doesn't like that this is being cast to an int, so we need to do a static cast. Okay. So far, so good. Let's copy this. So we want our system, and we need to, this is, what is it? It was like, let's go back to the examples. We have a get event, that's what it is. Get event. What's the by ID? We have the good. So how does it know? So I'm curious if like, well, we can look. Let's just do get event for now. And so that takes the path. So we need event, stir. I don't even know if we need to pass in. Maybe we shouldn't be passing in the hash string in that case. I don't know. I don't know about that interface. We might change this. And then this takes the event description. So this is the event. itself. Maybe this should be called event name. This is the actual event, sound event, which is an FMOD studio event description. Maybe we should do event description. Here, create that. That needs to be a pointer. Null pointer. And then we also need to be setting up the event instance. I guess if this fails for any reason, then we have a problem. I think I would prefer to just assert log that this is valid. Failed to load event description, event name, register, and this needs to say if it's not equal to FMOD, okay. Still not sure about that. All right. Oh, whoops. And then, so once we get that, maybe then we'll do the event instance. And that's what we're going to be returning is the event instance. So I take it that for this description, it looks like we don't need to clean that up at all. It's only the instance that needs to be cleaned up. Oh, oops. In this case, we don't need to worry about that though, because we're not starting it or anything. We're just saying, hey, let's load the system. It's going to be almost the exact same as this, get event, not quite. So it's going to be the event description, create instance, and it takes just the event instance and creates it. It would probably be nice to be able to provide exactly what about it is failing. Yeah, what I might need to do is add in a macro for this that takes the result. Yeah, that's probably what we'll end up doing. We'll come back to it. Okay. And then this is void. What was the other one called? Start. Takes the event name. So it does almost the exact same thing as here. And we probably could just call play. Pass in the event name. Oh man, I just had some deja vu. Why? Pass in the event name. Get the, we could just say auto instance. Instance. And then what we just want to do is call start. and release. Seems pretty good. So it just does this stuff automatically for us. Because I think a lot of the time that's what we want to do is kind of fire and forget. Like, hey, we want to play the sound. You know, this event happened. We don't need to do anything special with it. There are some cases where we might want to add in support for like stopping the sound or, you know, doing whatever with the event instance. We can look at like what can we do with it, the instance. Oh yeah, we looked at that earlier. Like set parameters. So, you know, if there's something that's changing, we might want to mess with that. So parameters allow us to kind of feed into the system and say like, hey, you know, the time of day is changing, and then it can actually adjust. There's the IDs. I don't know exactly how that works, but you can also do it by name. Trigger queue. I don't know what that does. Is there a way? I guess it would be in the description. Yeah, get ID. Yeah. Is stream, is one shot, snapshot, sound size, length. Get instance count, get instance list. Definitely interesting. Release all instances. So that's kind of cool that like, since it has a instance count, and you can even get the list, you could like, you know, maybe be able to look at that and have it be smarter. Like perhaps if there's already a instance running, so you could do something along, well, you would need to, I guess this would need to be changed, but you could have a check in here. It's like, hey, if yeah, I mean, it probably wouldn't go in here. It would maybe have to go in here, but essentially, yeah, you would want to say if the event description has, what is it, get instance count is greater than, you know, 1, or maybe you would want to say like 3, then don't play it anymore. Like this would happen with Kriya, where perhaps you would do something like maybe you hit like 4 blocks all at once, or maybe you would hit multiple monsters at a time or something like that, and it would trigger the same sound event essentially. Then you could just say, hey, like, don't play this if there's already a few of these instances running. Hey, Cliptix, weren't you working on a game like for a few years? Yes, I worked on a game called Kriya for about 7 years. I did. Okay, so I think this is like the most basic interface we can get right now. I can definitely see it being improved over time, but I don't really know what we want to do yet with that, because yeah, a few things. Like one thing I can see is maybe like some network support. I don't know how that's going to work here. Yeah, that definitely complicates things. Like if I wanted to have a network support. Like whenever you fire off an event, how does it know? How is it going to get, like, know that you are a server and it needs to send this event to other people? You're also going custom again. Oh, you decided against Unity? I know you were looking at that. Are you doing C# again with like I'm guessing you're not using XNA. Are you using, what was the other one called? Monogame? Or doing something else? FNA. Oh, right, that's the other one. Cool, cool. Yeah, whenever I was looking at, like, I kind of considered that, like, mono game or whatever. But I don't know. I've just grown used to using C++, I guess. Hey, Kyle. How was the show? It was good. It was really good. Yeah. Better than we expected. We took a nice little picture. Let me find it. I took a picture of Kelly. I was not in it. Here we go. It doesn't want to load. Here we are. Oh. Wait for it. There we go. That's Kelly. Yeah, we're pretty close. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Hamilton. That's what we went and saw. Yeah, it was excellent. How is San Francisco touring going? Hopefully good. Okay, so yeah, this is a super basic interface. We'll figure things out. Like whenever we do multiplayer support, which will be happening soonish. Yeah, probably in like 2 weeks or so. I'm going to start like really thinking about that. And we're gonna have to go back over a lot of the stuff that we've been working on. Gonna be touring and visiting friends. Nice. Sea lions. Yeah, that's cool. And lots of seagulls. Have you guys walked across the Golden Gate Bridge yet? I've actually never done that. I've driven over it dozens of times, but never actually walked across it. Or a popular thing is to ride your bike across it. It is quite the walk. Yes, multiplayer. I mean, whenever we do multiplayer, what it's really going to be is setting up the like systems and making sure that everything is the foundation is there. So as we're continuing to develop the engine, we don't have to like, go back and really rethink things. I mean, I'm still going to have to do that a little bit because I haven't been working on multiplayer. Like here, when we start an event, if this is the server, then we need to do things a little bit differently. I have nice part. Yeah, it's just, whenever you live somewhere, you're just less likely to actually go do the like touristy things there. I don't know why that really is the case. I guess it's just because you're kind of like, oh yeah, I could do that whenever. So like I've never gone to, since I've lived in Northern California the majority of my life, I've never gone to like Alcatraz. I've not walked across the Golden Gate Bridge. I haven't gone to like Yosemite ever. Stuff like that. They didn't know you were in SF. I'm north of San Francisco right now. But yeah, like it's a 3-hour drive. Muir Woods. I have gone through Muir Woods and up in that area. My sister actually got married over by there about 9 years ago. But I haven't gone there much. My stepdad rides his bike over by there like almost every week. Or I don't know how often it is. Something like that. Every few weeks. Stepdad. I said stepdad. Father-in-law. There is a difference. Okay, so one thing we need to do is add in support for this load bank. and then also initialize and shut down. So let's go to resource. What I'm thinking we'll do for that is handle audio. We don't have anything here yet. What we'll do is whenever we handle this audio, we're loading a bank. Right now we'll assume that we're loading a bank. And so what we just want to do is call this audio load bank, pass in the stream, and that's it. And it will take care of everything else for us. Oh wait, I take that back. So this is actually a little weird because we have this audio resource, but I kind of don't need it, huh? I don't know if I really need to do this. Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that yet. For now, we can do this. And we just won't change, oops, sorry. We won't set or change anything. So this will be really simple. Let's just go into here and say, whoops, include audio.h. That's it. Kind of a weird one. I'm not sure what we're doing with that yet, because like we're never going to actually get the audio. So this feels a little weird. Right now, all we're using it for really is this asynchronous loading, where it'll load the file for us and everything. We need to call initialize and shut down. We can do that inside of game.cpp. So up here we have like the render system in it. So we'll do something similar here. I guess we could do it right here. Is this audio initialize, and then at the bottom, when we are shutting down, say audio shutdown. Should probably do it in the reverse order that we are initializing. And then we need to also include audio. Okay, something else we probably need to do here is whenever we are initializing this, all right, we'll do resource load. Oh yeah, there's the asynchronous thing. I think we do want to have it be asynchronous, but we'll still just do resource audio and then pass in the path. And one thing I'm thinking of doing here for now is just stealing the bank media CDE granular. Where's the I saw it. Oh, this is in core. Let's go back. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Studio examples media. Here's the bank. Music bank. Sound effects bank. Dang, that's huge. So they have this FS bank. Ben FS bank. Let's try opening up one of those banks. I want to just look at it. Maybe we could create our own small little bank just for fun. Open file. Hold up. Oh, it needs the bank generation file. Oh. Okay, maybe we'll create our own then. Sound bank generation. Let's just do sample, or maybe we'll do sound effects as well. output directory. So let's see here. We'll just play around with this. So our output will be data, I guess, for now. That's the folder. Sound effects.fsb. Enable looping, optimize sample rate, right peak volume. I don't really know what all of that is. We'll figure it out. Okay, yeah, so we'll just do this. We'll go to Korea, mods, core, UI, audio, sound effects, UI. Let's just grab a few sounds. Like select. And maybe confirm, deny. Oop. That should be good. Sound effects. Okay, and then we can save this. And that's something I'm going to need to figure out. This is kind of like I need to have, and I'll probably just put it in here for now. And this might just be like dig. Yeah, maybe we'll just call it that, because I think you can have multiple banks in here. But anyways, like, we're going to need to have a directory that's dedicated to all of the like files, these like larger files that are not included directly into the game, but there's some what is it called again? Asset pipeline that takes, you know, all of these like OGG files and has this FS project file, the FMOD soundbank file generation, and it then will output to our final directory. And we actually it's not here, but if we go all the way back to where we opened this, which is in bin, we can even see that there's this command line version of this, so we could run that and be able to just say like, hey, go ahead and add these files to, like, maybe we could even procedurally generate, or not procedurally, generate this bank from, or the banks from like directories, and say, okay, all of the audio files within this directory go into this bank, and so on. And so then we don't even need to save this. We just set it up and output the banks. I haven't looked at exactly what this does, but maybe we could do something like that. So let's add audio files, build, rebuild. So I think we just build. It says we successfully created that sound effects thing. That's awesome. Is there a way to play sounds? It does not look like it. So that's cool. So now we actually have our dig project. That's the project file. Here's our sound bank. Excellent. So then we just need sound effects.fsb. I don't know, like, so we have this bank. I guess what we need to also do is go to our like studio API sound. Hold up. Where is this? Oh, I guess I don't have the studio installed, huh? FMOD profiler. Wonder what that does. Oh, okay. So you can connect to a port. Nice. That's cool. And you can see. Nice. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. So yeah, from the looks of it, I need to also install this FMOD Studio to be able to actually create something, because this bank doesn't have any events hooked up to it from what I can tell. We just have these sounds inside of it. So we can load this bank and that should be able to work, but there's no way to tell it like, hey, now you need to play this sound, right? But where is that even set? Okay, that I'm not sure of. Yeah, how is that working? So we have this bank, strings.bank. I wonder what that means. Strings bank. Yeah, I wonder how this should work. Ambient start. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Hey, what's the name of that file explorer? That's Clover. Yeah, where are we? Oh, I didn't see it has all that extra information. Nice. Location, length, channels. Yeah, I don't know how. Import from LST, import profile. Sound profile. I wonder if one of these import from .lst list file. I don't know what that is. I wonder. Yeah, I'm curious if that's how we can set up. Generate C header. Interesting. Cache profile directory. Yeah, I'm not sure how this is all working yet. But I'm imagining that one of these like maybe the profile, I don't know if profile makes sense. Something is importing the settings. Oh, sorry, not the settings, the events. Orbis. FMOD AD PCM. Oh, whoops. Go back. Oh, nice. Maybe we can figure that out. Let's go ahead and close this stuff. I don't need that right now. I'll put, oh yeah, I never did that. I totally forgot about that. We'll have to come back to that in the future. Is outlining text something I will need at some point? I forgot. Let's do learn FMOD Studio. Yeah, so I do need to download that. Sign in. Okay, so we have the API, but we don't have the actual tool. I don't think I downloaded this. So we'll get the 64-bit version. I don't think I installed that. Okay, so we'll need to do that at some point. This FMOD logo. We don't need to right now, but we'll have like a splash screen or something that will show it. Okay, let's install this. That should be fine. Is the idea of a bank something you can unload if players are in another map or area? Why are not all sounds in one bank? I think I don't know exactly. I think I saw like one idea is that if we look at, which one was it? I think it was here, this programmer sound. That we can have these banks that can represent these different things, like for dialogue, like actual, like, you know, voice in games, you could say, oh, here's the English bank. And whenever, you know, someone says hello, or this character says, you know, they're supposed to say something that triggers the event. And depending on which bank you have loaded, it will have the different dialogue. So you can have it say like, oh yeah, this is the, you know, the Japanese version of saying hello. I mean, for your game. I don't know if we're going to have multiple banks. We might just have a single one, or maybe we'll have like sound effects and music. I'm not sure. I'm still figuring that out. But yeah, you can split up different ways. So yeah, the banks can be used for different things. I'm not an audio guy, and FMOD is new to me, so I don't know exactly all of the benefits you can get from using it. But this is one example, is the localization, different languages being supported through these banks. And so you can just have these events that can be reused throughout multiple banks. I'm sure there are other advantages. I don't know what they are. I know that trying to putting all of the sound files into a single bank helps reduce that overhead. That, like, I think, yeah, there are many audio file formats that have, you know, some header file that includes a bunch of information, or it's like a header section that includes a bunch of information that's actually repeated for each file. And if it's all in a bank, then they can kind of collapse that down and save some space. But yeah, I'm still learning what are the advantages of this. It's all new to me. Okay, so yeah, what I was just thinking of doing is, yeah, here we can say, what this is, like sound effects, what was it? FSB, HS64, and that should be it. So we just installed that. So I should have FMOD in here, right? It installed on the 64-bit one. FMOD Sound System Studio. Okay, so I've never used this before. We'll take a look at it. So do I need to like associate a bank with this? FS Pro, yeah, banks, there we go. So we have a master bank. We can, so you can mark as master bank. New bank. Maybe we'll just do a master bank. And so then do you add sounds to this? Maybe that's the way we want to go. Let's try that. Korea mods, core, audio, sound effects, UI. What we wanted, like cancel, collect, menu open, whatever, just a few. You can't just drop them in here. So how do you find references? New audio table? Maybe that's what we need to do. Audio table. Maybe we'll do like UI sound effects. I don't know if this is what we actually want to do, but I'm just trying this out. Does that actually do anything for us? It looks like it's finding maybe. Yeah, I found all of the files in here. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear that. We'll do like, let's expand this out a little bit. Select. Yeah, so we have those, and then let's try adding a new event. I don't know what really matters. We'll call this confirm, UI confirm, unassigned. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Assigned to bank, master. Okay, yeah, so that's how you can do that. Okay. So now how do we say, let's take a sound. That's not what so I'm looking for a way to like add a single instrument. Drop audio file here. But how do I move, localized, rename? What I want to do is figure out how to put this in here. Or maybe it will figure it out for us if I just drop it in. Like, I call that UI confirm. Maybe it just knows like, oh, hey, that's our confirm. I don't think it needs to be so long. Oh, you can really shrink it down. Is there a way to expand it, like zoom in? Oh, there we go. So I could, wait, hold up. Let's shrink it down more. Yeah, we can see it actually ends right here. So you could just be like, hey, let's go to that point. So we have our confirm now. And so we're saving this FS project. We'll just put it in the same directory that we're doing, which is in this data. We'll call it dig. So now we have our master project. Wait, how do we need to like export? Connect to game. Oh, that's cool. You can actually connect to game. Export GUIDs. Nice. This is pretty cool. Edit. Create. I'm wondering how you like export this. Or maybe what you do is like let's close or we can just open. Let's try to open up data. This wait. Dig. Oh, that is, yeah, I don't want this. I was wanting the other. Bank folder, event folder. Trying to understand FS Proj. Wait, so what does this save as? This is a FS Pro. How do we export the master bank, or just the banks period. New bank, flatten. Yeah, so I don't know how to do that yet. How do we... take a bank, or like export a bank? Organizing the project, getting events into your game. Banks. Banks are collections of the metadata, assets, events, etc. To assign events to a bank, assign bank. You can view all banks and add more in the banks browser. Some banks are master banks, which contain data related to your project as a whole, including mixer, buses, and VCAs. Build. Oh, there's a build. I see. Jump to FMOD.io. Wait, how do we get to build? Oh, that is... I see, I see. I don't actually see how we build stuff yet. Save, revert to saved. Oh, it's right there. Build. Building master for desktop. Cool. So what does that output? That go into here? Build. Ah, there we go. And there's a strings.bank as well. Interesting. Okay, okay. So for now, what we'll do, I guess I'll just put it in here. So this is master.bank. We also need master.strings.bank. You can see one is much larger than the other. Okay, and we have the confirm event set up, right? And I think all that is we just have to say UI confirm and that's it. We look at this example, like it appears that you can put stuff into path, right? There's like a new folder, so we could create a folder and put it in the folder. We don't have that right now, so it's just going to be event/UI confirm, and that's it. So let's go here. We're just playing around with this. So what we'll do is go to our UI manager. And what we're going to say is whenever you click on this bar, we'll say audio play. Let's do start. For now, we'll just do start. And we want to pass in the event UI confirm H64. And I need to go up here, and it's not in UI. Let's put it right here. Audio. Let's see if this compiles. I wish that I knew about this or this was around whenever I first started creating Korea. I spent a significant amount of time, like probably 2 to 3 months of development, trying to make procedurally generated music in the game. And I even made a little tool that would allow you, and I came up with this design where you could have like game events be like feeding into um things, and I was kind of like inspired by what Disaster Piece did for Fez, and yeah, I just wanted to like make the music and the like world feel alive, and like so things were very dynamic. You know, let's say you go into a cave or you get low on health or something, the music would actually change. Like it would get faster, um, maybe a little bit more intense, and when you like leave or it's daybreak or whatever, and suddenly it's nice, calming music. And so it's just like constantly changing based off of a lot of different parameters. And I thought it was going to be really cool, and I think it would have been, but it's complicated. Especially like me trying to roll my own system and I'm trying to figure all of that out. And FMOD basically can do all of that. And yeah, I wish that I had that available to me before. So I was having to recompile everything because I changed the include directories and whatnot. Will you be able to do 3D audio in this? Yeah, it looked like you can set up 3D audio stuff. Um, whenever you make an event, you can specify if it's 2D or 3D. I don't exactly know what the difference is, but yeah, it seems like you can easily do that. Okay, so let's see if this actually works. Nope. FMOD Studio.l DLL was not found. Yeah, I forgot to do the VC underscore VC. Rip. That sucks. FMOD. Okay, that was right. Oh, you know what? No, I'm wrong. What I forgot to do. Dig libs. Is grab the DLLs. That's what I forgot. So this is for 64. Yeah, have it split up kind of in the other direction, right? So this is to go back up. This is release. And then back a few more. And back one more. And this is the 32-bit build. We'll just grab all of them again. Whoops, no, I don't want to. Hold up, cancel. I want to copy, not cut. Whoops. Build. I went to the wrong directory. Build release. Let's paste those in. Take those and put them in here. Oh, whoops. That's a fail. Wait, hold up. Hold up. I did this wrong. Yeah, this is just the 64-bit version. I just realized I wasn't specifying which one it was. So actually I need to kind of redo that. I kind of forgot that they have the same name. We really just want this 64-bit one, so we'll do this again. We're not doing 32-bit, honestly. Like, I have everything for it, but we're not really doing it. Okay, so we'll replace those. We're going to go ahead and cut these. Paste them into here. And now we should be good. Okay. So I don't know if this will work, but we can try. Oh, yes, that's what I was looking for. Let's go ahead and break. What do we have going on here? The system. What's the error? Failed to load event. So this return FMOD something. Did not return what we're looking for. It seems to have gotten the event description, but did not return okay. Maybe it's returning like loading or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to like break into it or something. This is where having the results would actually be useful. Who actually has a 32-bit system nowadays? I know. Yeah, it's pretty much all 64-bit finally. Finally. Okay. So. Oh no. Dang it. Ugh. What is this returning? Okay. Hold up. Hold up. I'm missing something here. Let's do this. We'll just do auto result. F the result. So then I can put the breakpoint here. A huge cave would have way more echo. Yes, that would be cool to do. Okay. So here, result is FMOD okay. Oh, whoops. I got that flipped around. My bad. I don't know why I got that wrong. I need to say it needs to be equal to that. Whoops. My bad. I'm like, hey, this is working and it really shouldn't be, so let's just fail. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. Interesting, I can't inspect this at all. It's being able to find it. I'm wondering if like maybe the sound is not set or anything like that. Instance. Channel group, 3D parameters, set volume. Maybe we need to set that. Guessing it needs to go to like 1 is max or full volume. Maybe I need to do something. I didn't see any of this other stuff in here, but perhaps I missed it. Like I don't see it needing to set the volume in here. Or anything else. Load banks. Flush commands. Oh, I should do that, I guess. Auto. Yes. The auto. It's okay. Maybe that's why it's not working. Maybe I do need to do that. FMOD result. There. Just me being lazy. Yeah, we want to do a system flush commands at this point. So I'm not seeing what we're missing here. Oh, maybe I'm not calling system update. Oh, dang. I didn't realize I wasn't doing that. That would probably be why. Update processing. We probably need to call update. Okay, so maybe I need to add in one more thing here, which is just an update function. Void update s system update. And then we can go to game, and down here at some point, maybe just right here, we can do audio update. We'll see how this goes. Oh, dang. What's that? It's a click. It's a click. It's a click. Oh yeah. Cool. Cool. We got something working. That was easy. Heard it. Nice. Cool. So I probably was just forgetting to call update. I don't think I need this volume. I imagine that the volume is default. You say it's easy, but it looked very hard. Well, it was mostly me just trying to figure out how to do things. Cool, cool. Yeah, we didn't need the audio. So yeah, like one thing we might want to do is support the option to pass in this volume here, float volume. We could even have it be defaulted. Most of the time I do just want it to be whatever the default volume is. And that's where like, maybe what I would actually do is have an option in here where you can set the volume. Like for Korea, what I did was master volume, music volume, and sound effects volume. And so master is for both, but then you can also like adjust them individually. Now click it 20 times per second and see if it breaks. Maybe we should first turn down the volume. It's pretty loud. At least it is for me. But yeah, we could add in support for setting the volume levels. But sometimes you want to be able to mix the volume. Like there might be a sound. Well, maybe. This is probably only the case if the sound needs to be mixed better. But like typically you shouldn't have to individually adjust the volume of something. I suppose you might want to if like I don't know. Like what is that called again whenever it's like further away? Attenuation? Is that what it was? Audio manager. Because I haven't seen that at all. Yeah, attenuation. Where it's like, hey, the further away you are from something, the quieter it is. Be gone, QA person. Right. Nah. We will actually do a stress test at some point, but yeah, so you can set up the listener and then be able to have like attenuation with it. That was my go-to bug on all my team's iOS apps. Rapidly tapping everywhere. Yeah. Just wait to see something break. Can this take chaos? Yeah. So it might be that we need to add that in. I would be kind of surprised though. They probably have something for that with the API. Let's try going back. Oh wait, learn. We want learn. Learn. FMOD API. Go to the studio API, playing events, dialogue and localization. Sample data loading. Advanced settings. Yeah, I don't see anything about that. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist though. Maybe I need to turn down my volume. Listeners. Oh, here we go. That number of listeners. Listeners. Set listener attributes. Aha. FMOD 3D attributes. I think this is what we want. Listener attributes. Position, velocity, forward, up. There we go. Yeah. So this is where we can actually set up that. And is this for like a specific channel that we set it up for? Listener and the attributes. Listener. Okay, so we have a listener. So what I'm thinking is like sometimes we care about it being in world space. Like you're in a cave and you hear like some water drip. And it's off to the, maybe it's off to like behind you or whatever. And so there's that drip. And if, depending on the distance, it might change. If you're in a cave, maybe we have that reverb, whatever. Set listener weights. Interesting. Okay, cool. But then there's other cases where you're like doing something on the UI, or there's usually it's like UI stuff. Like let's say a notification pops up, ding. That doesn't depend on where you are at in the world space. It's consistent, and so we need to be able to handle that as well. And so I was like thinking maybe like there's a channel, so like some channels are affected by the listener or not. I'm not sure. So it has these different listeners. That number of listeners, but I don't really know how. So listeners is definitely the thing that we want to look at. It's all specified here, and what's up here? This is the listener attributes. Listener index, get listener weight. Oh, okay, yeah. So, like, one thing we could do is... Get listener weight. Oh, maybe not. I was thinking we could have it so that the weight is 0, so it doesn't affect it whatsoever. And that not might be quite right. So we can say what the listener is and the attributes. Let's go down 3D attributes. Number of listeners. Where is that at? Let's go down here again. I want to look at that some more. Yes, the weight. Weighting is a factor which determines how much the listener influences the mix. It is taken into account for 3D panning, Doppler, and the automatic distance effect parameter. Ah, okay. That's the attenuation. Yeah, a listener with a weight of 0 has no effect on the mix. Listener weighting can be used to fade in and out multiple listeners. For example, to do a crossfade, an additional listener can be created with a weighting of 0 that ramps up to 1 while the old listener weight is ramped down to 0. After the crossfade is finished, the number of listeners can be reduced to 1 again. The sum of all listener weights should add up to at least 1. Gotcha. To at least 1. Wonder what happens if you try to do more. Set the number of listeners. If the number of listeners is set to more than 1, then FMOD uses the closest sound to the listener method to determine what should be heard. Okay. So I guess maybe what it is for UI sounds, we just play it on top of the player. Maybe. I don't know if that's actually what we want to do. Yeah, for Korea, what I ended up doing was having like a play and a play at. And so play would be just, play it on top of the player essentially. So it's a consistent sound. And then play at would be positional. So we would actually specify the world space. Could you make a second sound system instance for UI sounds? That's a possibility. I don't know if that's like the best way to go about doing it, but that is a possibility. I wonder if they have any examples in here of this. Object pan. That might be it, where it's like panning, recording, playback. Oh, that's pretty cool. 3D, maybe one of these as well. I guess what I should probably look for is like where it does anything with the listener. Listener. Examples 3D. Camera centered on the player in this, right? Yeah, although I would like to support the camera to not always be on top of the player. But basically what I would do is the listener position and the sound would be playing at the same position. I don't know how to do all of that stuff yet. Like, I'm guessing that whenever you create an event instance or something, you can do event instance. You can, there's the description. Yeah, you can set a parameter. And it sounded like there's like automatically a position for it. Here's that. Pitch, start offset, compress. I have not messed with user properties, tags, notes, list parameters, and scope. Event macros. Fader. Click to add a pre-fader, post-fader. So there's probably somewhere in here. I don't want to Oh wait, what do I want? What do I want? Parameter by name. So those are properties. Where are parameters for an event? Parameters. Lists parameters and scope. Key. These are the parameters. I don't know how to add it. Lists parameters and scope. Add parameter. Aha. Local value shared between all instances. Oh, okay, cool. Expose recursively via event instruments. Read only, hold value during playback. Continuous, discrete, labeled. Built-in, distance, direction. Yes, that's what I was kind of thinking. Direction or distance. So those are some built-in ones, I guess. I don't know exactly how that works. Hold value during playback. Distance. And the automatic distance event parameter. So it sounds like it automatically has that, but maybe I can change it if I want to. I don't know exactly how that's working yet. My guess is that it has some concept of like distance and how far you can hear things. And so it looked like the default was 0 to 20. And so maybe, you know, if you say the distance is beyond 20, then you can't hear it anymore. And so it just like scales it. I don't know if it's linear interpolation or it's like, oh yeah, if it's 10 away, then that means you can hear it at 50%. Maybe so. And so what we'd have to do is whenever we're playing the sound, we would need to set the distance. We'd say, okay, let's get the parameter by name. Or that gets it. Wait, what does that mean? Oh, this gets all of the information. So really what we would want to do is set the parameter by name. Yeah, and we would say we need to figure out what the distance is based off of the listener's position and the... So this is kind of weird how you have to do that. Ignore seek speed. Yeah, it's so weird how you would have to do that. Like how you specify the listener's position with those 3D attributes. Position, velocity, forward. But then you only provide the distance in units. Set 3D settings. Maybe in here. Doppler scale, distance factor. Oh, here we go. Distance factor. Distance factor is the FMOD 3D engine relative distance factor compared to 1.0 meters. Another way to put it is that it equates to how many units per meter does your engine have. For example, if you are using feet, then scale would equal 3.28. This only affects Doppler. If you keep your min-max distance, custom roll-off curves and positions and scale relative to each other, the volume roll-off will not change. If you set this, the min distance, I almost wanted to say mind instance, the min distance of a sound will automatically set itself to this value when it is created in case the user forgets to set the min distance to match the new distance factor. Okay. But yeah, it's weird in that you set the distance for, wait, where was it at? Here we go. You set the position for the listener, but then you set the distance for the other stuff. So that means you have to calculate it, not them. It's just kind of weird. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something right now. Maybe they have an example in here. RPM. Set listener attributes. Okay. Update screen position. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing character index. Three-day multi. I wonder what that is. Oh, with crossfade listeners. I see. Parameter by name, RPM. Rotations per minute. Only thing I can think of. It's talking about vehicles. I don't see. Whenever it's playing the sounds, event instance, set 3D attributes. Oh, that is it. Okay, that makes so much more sense now. Okay, I did not see that before. Aha, that was very helpful. So our instance has, so instead of setting the parameter directly, we can set the 3D attributes here, which takes the same things as what we would pass into our player. And so we can actually say, hey, this is where this thing is located at, and it will automatically figure out like the distance. Awesome. That makes a lot more sense. So yeah, we would have this 3D attributes. It looks like it needs to take it. Takes the pointer. Do I have to keep that valid throughout the entire thing? Oh, whoops. API system, listeners. I want to go to lifetime, not system callback, instance. Where's the instance at? System, event instance. Here we go. 3D set. Oh, you can also set masks. Oh, cool. Okay, we're learning stuff here, guys. We're learning stuff. What is that for? Sets a listener mask. The listener mask controls which listeners are considered when calculating 3D panning and the values of listener relative automatic parameters. The default mask includes all listeners. Is get mask, just returns that. Okay. So yeah, that might be what we want to do for our UI stuff, is like mask out what listeners are what, maybe? I'm not sure. Still figuring that out. Set 3D attributes. An event's 3D attributes specify its position, velocity, and orientation. The 3D attributes are used to calculate 3D panning, Doppler, and the values of automatic distance and angle parameters. Cool. So yeah, that's what we just need. So we would pass in like probably just the position. maybe we want this other stuff. I don't know if we really need that. I don't really know how that plays into if, like, how does this stuff really make sense for a 2D game? Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But okay. That's cool. So yeah, we probably want to at least pass in that stuff. I don't know. I think what we want to do is just have a... Yeah, what I'm thinking is that we'd want to probably pass in to our update information about the player at least. Whoops. Yeah, I wonder. We might be able to actually like kind of cheat here and just say like, hey, if you don't pass in it, then don't. Yeah, I don't know if I like that. Maybe not. That's actually something I'm trying not to do. Just have like conditional logic based off of the parameters. I feel like it's better to have different functions that, you know, like take it or not. So I could have another instance of this, like have this be overloaded, where it's just like start, and it takes, you know, maybe a vector of the position. And then in here we can say event instance set 3D attributes, and we need to pass in our attributes here. FMOD 3D attributes position. I think in this case we can just do a position.x, position.y, and 0. And then this needs to be passed in as a reference. I think that should be fine. And then, yeah, we would need to have the include utility vector or vec2. Or actually in this case, we just want types, right? Types.h, we'll do it. Yeah, and so this would be the like special one that does this for us. And then in here, we would want to be passing in the player's position, the listener position. Maybe, I don't know actually, like, I don't know how we want to do listener stuff. Maybe we only have one listener. I don't really understand, like, how that's making sense yet. Like, how listeners are used. But yeah, I would say that most likely what we would want to do is have this yeah, I don't know actually. I don't know about that. For the volume, let's go to volume, set instance, set volume. Let's look if the system has a volume. Nope. So that's something like yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I want to handle that yet. This is where like uncertainty overwhelms me. I'm thinking like, do we have a master volume? Do we have like audio? What is it? Sound effects and music. That's typically what you do. It sounds pretty good. Um, but then how do we distinguish the two? That's the one thing I'm not sure about yet. Is how are they distinguished? Do we have different listeners? Like it's just always playing events, and so whenever you play an event, maybe it actually plays a song. So we want it to be going through this other channel, like maybe. Typically, you have a master volume, and then your sound effects and music volumes are a percentage of the master volume. Yeah, that's what I did for Korea. I'm just thinking, like, how do we handle that with FMOD? So what I can see is that there is no like master volume that you set on the system. So if there's listeners, it's within the instance you can set the volume. That's all I can tell right now. Look up sound information. No, that's not going to be it. Yeah, so we would have our instance volume. Yeah, so this scales it. And so we would want to do that. So we have to figure out, like, whenever we are invoking some event, how do we know if it's a music event or a sound effects event? We don't have anything set up for that yet. And so I have to like figure out like how are we handling that? Um yeah, like this interface I can see can be a lot more complicated, a lot more. Um Event property minimum distance. Max blah 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 blah. Yeah. So how would we distinguish them? Like one thing I could see, I don't think I like this, is where you could play sound effect, or play music, or start sound effect, start music. That seems a little weird though. Another thing you could do is base it off of the event name, but that also seems kind of bad because you don't want to be looking at the string and trying to figure out if it's a UI or whatever, or sound effect. Not sure. Might need to just look at it more. There's probably like this is a very common thing, so there's probably actually like no recommended way to do this, and maybe just like a way period. Perhaps they have it in here. Spatial audio, 3D sounds, asynchronous I/O, DSP architecture and usage. What's DSP? I don't know what DSP is. They just always refer to it as DSP. Oh, there it is. Digital Signal Processor. Interesting. I have no idea what that really is. Yeah, I don't know much about audio stuff. Okay. So maybe not that. Handle system. Memory, banks, threads, events. Okay, so this looks like it would be useful to read about the event. Yes. Updating orientations, set listener attributes once per frame for the listener, and to update 3D events with the set 3D attributes. So if you had like something that was moving and you wanted the sound effect to keep up with it, we would have to keep setting the 3D attributes on that. Let's see. Okay. Spatial audio. Create sound and play sound. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about the volumes yet, but I might just need to do some more research on that. Try to figure out exactly how that needs to work. Yes. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it for today. It was a good stream. I'm gonna go eat some lunch, and I need to do some research, and I also need to do some planning for Korea. We're going to be starting to work on Korea here very soon. After like my projectDIG stream, so I'll probably go until about now, and then take a lunch break, and then work on Korea. But I'm not gonna do that today because I need to do some planning for it. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow morning at the typical time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. If you're not following already, feel free to follow. And you can also check out the VODs on YouTube. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.